I'm Nathan Smith with Tallgrass TV, and we're here with Stuart Wildman for the movie The Ladies of the House. So if you'd like, just go ahead and tell us what the film is about.
The Ladies of the House is a film about a group of women who live together that kind of romance a 50s kind of a pin-up Norman Rockwell kind of lifestyle. And they also happen to be cannibals. And a few men out on a birthday outing talk their way into the wrong house, and they will likely be invited for dinner.
Excellent. So where did the idea for the film come from?
My wife and I were trying to come up with an idea to do our first film together. She was a playwright when we met, and we both had separate scripts, and it just didn't quite work. And she, as we were driving around Los Angeles one day, said, "Well, what about cannibal strippers?" Half kidding, and I said, "That's it." I said, if you write that script, I will figure out a way to get it made. And at a certain point, I came on and wrote the script with her, and 5 years later, we're here.
What was the hardest moment for you, during production or pre-production?
You know, I would say, it always comes down to money. It always comes down to getting money to make a film. And I remember very well, one of our primary investors, I was at the Sundance Film Festival, and I sat down with this woman, and I was talking to her about asking her to make the commitment to getting the film. And in that conversation, I actually had that moment thinking to myself, I am now pushing myself out on a limb. And if she says yes, then I have to make this movie, because if I don't make this movie, after getting that, then I will be so humiliated. I'll need to move back to my hometown and run a community theater, and not that there's anything wrong with community theater, but that it's just like everything. I would be just devastated. And so I'm now going out on a limb, and I am going to make this movie stubbornly independent. Whatever it will take to do so. And it was my job, when I'm not making films, is to be a publicist for the Film Society of Lincoln Center, and before that it was with the American Film Institute, and so I was putting myself in the position of so many other filmmakers that I've promoted, that I've been in your chair talking to, and and putting on red carpets and what have you. But now it was my turn, and it's been an amusing thing to a lot of filmmaker friends of mine, that now it's my turn.
Right.
It's like after you teased us, about spending all of our uncle's money to make a movie or whatever. Now you're in that same boat, or that kind of thing. But there is a heart-stopping moment where you go, okay, I now have to do this. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, when it comes right down to it. I mean, I had to, at some point even do like a Kickstarter thing to get finishing funds, and I had to, do that type of thing, which is the worst part of it, actually. That was, and again, it comes down to money. So that first conversation, that, to get somebody to say, yes, I will give you this amount of money, and now you really, it's not just talking. Right. It's not just pretending like, what we'll do is we'll have this pre-production schedule, we'll do this, whatever. No, somebody actually gives you a check, and you go, I am now making a movie. And so you have that one. And then the second part is what is always like finishing the thing. And, like I said, that Kickstarter thing was the worst part of it, because while I was filming, I was also doing this campaign. So I would finish shooting for the day, and rather than working on my shot list or notes or whatever for the following day, looking at dailies and that sort of thing, I was sending out emails to raise money to finish the movie that I was doing, and literally, and no exaggeration, 200 emails every evening. And that's for a month. It was like being the star of my own Jerry Lewis telethon for a month while you're making a movie. It was crazy.
That'd be terrible. Oh man, perseverance.
Not to discourage anybody.
Right.
Because it's fun. You're making movies.
Okay, so what was the biggest lesson you learned during the production?
The biggest lesson I learned during production was instinct about people only takes you so far. There were more than a couple times where I would have a conversation with someone and I would go, yeah, that's the guy. Or that's the woman. That's the girl. And she, we'll bring her. And one of my producing partners on the film, who's also one of the stars in the film, Farrah White, she would constantly be going, get back up on this guy, or make a call on this woman, and and see the last couple films that they worked on. Talk to somebody that's worked with them. Do more homework other than just your conversation and the feel that you got with them. And the times I did not do that, I got burned. The times that I did not do that full follow through on someone, oftentimes that person, when you had that crunch time moment or that that wartime decision, in the foxhole, they sucked, and and I had to work around them. So that was that was and I've told Farrah on more than a couple occasions, like on the next one, I said, fine, when it comes down to personnel, anytime I have that instinct, I'll go, then I'm going to turn them right over to you, and you do the vetting process to make sure that they're legit.
Okay. So what are some inspirational filmmakers for you?
Inspirational filmmakers. I would say George Romero is a huge one for me. It's like Chan Park-wook, who did the Vengeance trilogy. We just, my wife and co-writing, co-production partner, we often say that the original Old Boy is our couples movie, which says a lot about us, I think. And so that that the Korean horror is we're both very much influenced by that. For this particular film, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a huge influence, and we even had an homage to the film. One of our goals, and I would say not a direct goal, but one of our goals of the film was to create an idea that if Douglas Sirk directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what would have happened? And because I'm an admirer of both the horror and the style of Douglas Sirk, and so as far as filmmakers in general, though, Warren Beatty is also a huge influence for me. Someone that had not a huge filmography, but accomplished things on so many levels, from writing to producing to directing to starring, and excelled at such a high level in each one of those disciplines within the same production, and then oftentimes dated whoever won the Academy Award that year previously. So so that, I guess that was his extra credit. But those things are very, very much recent filmmakers that I think are amazing. Are Ben Wheatley, who did Sightseers. That's also one of my new favorites. And a couple new guys recently. Alex Ross Perry, who's a friend. Love his stuff. Paul Soleil, who did the film Grace. Lucky McKee, who did the Woman. Those guys, I think, are wonderful. I'm very fortunate in working at the Film Society of Lincoln Center, where I get access to a lot of amazing filmmakers, and I get to do Q&As with people and meet them. One guy this year was the great Radley Metzger, who was kind of like the East Coast equivalent to Russ Meyer. And he made these soft porn films that had an amazing style to them, and an amazing energy, and filmmaking wise, he was he never, I don't think, got like the regard that he should have, and we did a film series with him, and so I got to revisit like all of his films through the course of that, and you know, and just was able to appreciate, you know, the filmmaking acumen and the shot selection and the framing and everything that this guy did, but because it was, you know, it was within that erotica and soft porn world that people didn't really like Roger Ebert hated him. I mean, Roger Ebert like had it in for him in a major way, but now you look at these films in a different context. And you know, and sexually, some of them are kind of tame, you know, by what we see now. You know, you have blue is the warmest color in films like this, but they're amazing. And he took a liking to both myself and Justine, and he's now become a very, very good friend and a big fan of Ladies of the House, which was amazing for us. You know, and you have like this cool, amazing filmmaker, you know, this legend, and he goes, "I like what you did." And he's going, "Holy crap, you can't beat a stamp of approval like that," you know. But all those guys, yeah.
Okay. So what was your favorite moment during production?
The favorite moment, I think, was there's a sequence in the film where there are different dinner scenes, and of course, you know, when you're dealing with cannibals, food is very, very important. But these dinner scenes play out like almost like little mini plays within the film, and I know we're getting all right, and you got the meat grinder in the back now. But staging those and working with the actors and the great cinematographer Bo Etheridge that worked on the film as well. You know, it's great to see something. You know, when you're in your video village and you know you got the headphones on and you're watching and it's great to see something come together the way that you were hoping it would when you're originally writing it and then storyboarding it and all that kind of stuff. That is amazing. And then of course, you know, when you labor and you struggle and you go through the pain in the assery to make something, and then you call and you wrap your final shot. That's just, you know, it's like one of those moments where, you know, depending on how much you struggle, that can, you know, you're either jumping for joy and doing, you know, jumping jacks, or you break down into tears. And, you know, and I think I did a little bit of both. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's next for you guys?
The next thing, we were hoping to shoot our second feature at the end of this year, but I think we may push it because we need a little more pre-production time. But it's going to be our version of a love story, which is about a couple that, kind of like a high school couple that never quite connected and never quite, you know, made that thing, and they finally, after a long time of friendship and whatever, they finally get together and connect romantically on the same night that the zombie outbreak happens.
Oh,
so timing is everything. So yes, that'll be the next thing.
Good, excellent. Well, thank you very much, John.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.